The night vision goggles that they were issued were red light.
Okay.
And like multiple people in the U.S. military that were using them were seeing what they're reporting as flying demons.
Do you sleep in your skin? Or, I mean, in other words, do you have the reptilian body underneath? Do you take off the skin?
Oh, this is how reptilians sleep.
Yo, welcome back to the channel, gang. We're back at it with some creepy and interesting TikToks that'll make you question everything. And before we get to it, hit the sub button. Let's go.
You guys heard that thing about the night vision goggles?
No.
In Vietnam?
I heard the color. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Explain this to me.
This is weird, dude. So, you know, night vision now, it's green.
Yep.
You know.
Yay.
But in the Vietnam War, the night vision goggles that they were issued were red light.
Okay.
And like multiple people in the U.S. military that were using them were seeing what they're reporting as flying demons.
Ooh, stop.
And so there's an instance where they're flying these helicopters in Vietnam. It was a safe zone, no hostility, and then the gunner in the back just started shooting, and the pilot's like, "What are you shooting at?" And all the other helicopters were like, "What?" And they start shooting.
They all saw the same thing?
This guy, he was like panicked, and he's like sweating, and like it looked like he was like seeing a demon.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What are you shooting at?" He's like, "The demon."
Whatever those night vision goggles saw probably came straight from CERN portal.
Well, CERN's at it again. What are they doing, you ask? Oh, they're firing up the Large Hadron Collider today. What does that mean? We've had a lot of solar flares and large CMEs recently. These affect Earth's magnetosphere, which weakens the planetary shield, and it alters the energy fields. The old LHC, when active, produces extremely high energy collisions, which is possibly affecting the subspace fabric at a micro level. Possible implications could be the Earth's natural energy grids could become unstable or distorted, especially when high-frequency tech like CERN has overlaps with solar plasma waves. Goody. We all know about the long-held theories among both physicists and mystics that CERN is capable of tearing through the veils between dimensions, opening temporary portals, or even altering timelines subtly and not subtly. Cue a new Mandela effect. When combined with geomagnetic storms, the Earth's natural veil between dimensions is thinner. This is why psychic activity increases during solar storms. CERN could be capitalizing on this window to run experiments they can't during normal electromagnetic conditions, perhaps to observe or influence time, consciousness, or parallel realities. With hurricane season here, volcanoes erupting, and now CERN firing up, it may feel like we're in a scripted escalation. There's a growing speculation that this combo of, and this is for entertainment purposes only, HARP-styled atmospheric tech, particle accelerators like CERN, satellite-based EM, radio frequency systems is being used to control weather patterns, trigger natural disasters, or manipulate consciousness via ELF, which are extremely low frequency waves. CERN plus solar activity equals the perfect cover for disruptions that can be blamed on nature, but are being tuned behind the scenes. People are waking up fast. Did you know that geomagnetic storms correlate with pineal gland activations, DNA upgrades, and light code transmissions? What if CERN's activation right now is actually interfering with or trying to suppress that awakening? Think, distorting the frequencies flooding Earth, pulling energy into artificial timelines, cloaking or disrupting the natural new Earth frequencies? If this is true, it's because our light is working. And they know the veil is thinning faster and faster every second of every day, faster than they can control. So what can we do? Stay grounded, like literally barefoot on the earth. Do some grid work maybe? Stay close to God. and energetically shield yourself, shield your tech. Say a protection prayer over your home and digital services. Stay discerning, not fearful.
I think I'm less concerned about CERN's impact on the solar system, but more so the beings that's coming through the portal.
Sorry, if I can just pause you. You just said something which made my ears prick up. They are part of CERN.
Yes, because actually CERN is dealing with radionuclear research.
Right.
It's nuclear research. But it is more than that, because there are lots of physicians, I know some, they're doing very strange experimentation. There are beings from portals coming in and out. It's physicists from the CERN who told me this.
They've testified to beings coming in and out of portals.
Yes. And they were saying, I mean, I met them at a dinner, and there were two of them. And both said that, yes, they have, secondhand proof that the people who they're dealing with the boson of Higgs and the subatomic things. So they have apparently in the bottom of the CERN this portal, this door where they are dealing with all the subatomic dimensions. They say there are 17 different dimensions of reality. That's what those physicists say. Some others say there are more dimensions. We know the time, space, the tridimensional X, Y, Z in a graphic. But then you have more dimensions, and they are playing with that. They're using that, and we're a group, and they had a being. They did not tell me more. Who came that doesn't resemble a human, and then they had another one, and they have a proof because they left a scarf. They left the scarf. And now, when you look at what is going on in the CERN, there is a fight from some of the military agencies, Intel. They say that there is a fight on time. They're trying to change time. I'm just saying that because as a scientist, you cannot not say something so important. Because if you can deal with the smallest energies on Earth, you can imagine that you can go through other realms of dimensions. They say, yeah. So I will stop there. But CERN is very important, and it's in Geneva, and they have a tunnel for their experiment that is going down to Milano, to Genova, under the lake.
Why is Geneva? Why is Geneva of such significance? Because you've got the.
Do you think someone ordered like a ton of food? Oh no.
DoorDash is probably making a run to an entire neighborhood.
This is why you should never explore abandoned houses, because once these guys approached the stairway, something seemed off when they noticed a wire hanging from the ceiling. After looking from another angle, they found what looks to be a makeshift booby trap with a knife set to trigger when anyone walks up the steps and land right in the person's throat. After analyzing the trap for a few minutes, they decided to activate it to see what would happen if they walked up the steps. And just as they predicted, the knife would have landed right at their throats if...
That's like a trap in the Home Alone movies, but on steroids. I don't think this outfit is practical for any event.
This is the first of its kind. He just sized that guy up. Just keeping Walmart safe. The streets of Walmart are rough. Cat, got your tongue?
Oh, what'd you say?
What's your name?
We don't have a name yet.
Yo, Walmart has got a security that's a robot. Whoa!
I've had the chance to sell my soul, and I've declined every f***ing time. every time. And believe me, if you guys could even understand the money I've declined, we're not talking money where I have to gamble. We're talking guaranteed. We're talking like I would absolutely be a billionaire right now just to keep my principles and keep my soul intact. I've been offered many times to sell it. Many times. I give up 50 M's a month just to do it clean. Just don't come to me with some bullshit.
Not all money is good money.
Hide in God King bloodlines. They hide in generation in bloodlines. Now, there's always been a seed war. Genesis chapter 3 describes a seed war, the first of 400 messianic promises of King Jesus. Genesis chapter 3 is describing it's 3:15. There's always going to be a war between our seed and your seed. And then you go over into the book of Daniel. He says, hey, the head is as gold, the shoulders are as silver. It goes down to brass and it gets down to iron and clay mix. And it says this whenever he interprets it in the book of Daniel, and their seed shall mix with yours. Talking about at the end times, that mixing of the seed's going to be a big priority. So if it's transgender, if it's transhuman, it's all about trans, which is transgression. That's what it's all about. The enemy, the supernatural enemy, wants to be able to say, see, this is not God's creation. This is our creation, and we own it. That's what they want to do.
Wow. Are you aware of the whole RH negative thought on the bloodlines?
Tell me.
Because my buddy Joel told me that I guess there was a study somewhere, and I don't know where this study comes from because I know like Harvard's not doing this study, but the idea is that people who have RH negative bloodline, 15% of the population globally, but of that 15%, I think he said 90 to 95% of those people are prone to have supernatural encounters and experiences. And there's something to do with the bloodline. I had a guy here in studio that has RH negative blood, and he's a pastor in Middle Tennessee, and he had some wild things. He still does, has wild things happening to him. And when people heard that episode, the next question is, well, I have RH negative. Does that mean I'm not a Christian? No. like the definition of your faith is Romans 10:9. So
That's
it's
exactly
like,
right.
I mean, I think sometimes people get very, I don't know, confused maybe.
Yeah. Well, it brings questions. I mean, it does. And that doesn't mean there's not an answer. I want to ask you this, if you've had heart failure and you have a pig valve, does that mean that you can't go to heaven?
Right. Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
you certainly can. Right. So I think all of our bloodline, I mean, there's no telling. I mean, I'm a 6th generation Texan and I'm a 16th generation American. So there's no telling what's in my blood. I can tell you what's in all of our bloodline. Child drunks, everything, all of that is in our bloodline.
Yeah.
But the blood of Jesus conquers all of that.
Although I'm so skeptical about alien abduction, I wonder if the people who claim to have been abducted has the RH bloodline.
Welcome back to the People's Talk Show Live. And how have you been?
I'm good. I recently found out I'm a reptilian.
Really? Now,
Mhm.
now, from what I've known, or I'm sorry, from what I've heard, rather, is that this is a race that's been here a long time. So you finally realized, or did you always know?
I'm like, something's not adding up. And I said, I'm a reptilian.
I can
But
see
you
that.
helped me. You helped me. I couldn't have done it without you.
That warms my heart.
Well,
so now,
I love being on your show.
well, we love having you. I think you're those of you who may not know, Katana Clark is a staple here on TikTok. She's hugely popular. She's like uber famous, as they say, and she's been so sweet to the show, and you've been so kind, and so I'm happy to hear the news. What are the implications for you being a reptilian?
I just do a lot of like out of nowhere.
Stop it.
Well, I didn't expect that. What did you just do? Ah, I see that now. Isn't there something with the eyeballs too? Oh yeah. I think you're full on. You've gone full on. That was incredible. Who knew?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Now can you do that with pretty much anybody? Probably, right? I imagine that, maybe you just choose to do. So, what are you drinking? I mean, have you changed your diet?
I just like plain black coffee, no milk, no sugar.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I'm that reptilian. And
Yeah.
it's 10:35 at night, but this is how I go to sleep, drinking dark black coffee, no sugar,
Wow.
no milk, no cream. Reptilian sleep.
Do, do you sleep in your skin, or I mean, in other words, do you have the reptilian body underneath? Do you take off the skin?
Oh, this is how reptilians sleep.
Really? That looks comfortable. I mean, is there like do you have an agenda as a species? I mean, have you connected with other reptilians, or are you
Um,
just you're just kind of isolated?
that's actually a good question. They think I'm stupid. I went through like the whole reptilian like academy, and I just didn't pass on anything. Like I have like really low IQ for reptilian, so I'm
Really?
kind of a malfunctioning reptilian. So they
Uh,
basically said like I can chill, but like they just don't want anything to do with me. They say they don't need my help, so I should just stay out of it.
Jeez. I mean, there's nothing like, I mean, I get rejected on here a lot, but there's nothing probably worse than intergalactic rejection. Or are you from space, or are they actually, I've heard that they're actually from here or something like that, or is that they're in the hollow earth, or there's all kinds of theories as to where you originate,
Oh,
your people.
I live in the hollow earth of South America.
Oh,
Well, that's where I was created.
oh, wow. Well, do you see? I guess do you see family ever, or have you been ostracized? Or are you the black sheep, so to speak, of the family?
Okay, so when I got on TikTok, they basically said like we're disowning you. I mean, they already wanted to disown me from my reptilian family just for the fact that I'm just not intelligent. But then they were like, "That's it." Like, and you want to be on social media? They're like, "You're done."
Man, this is so this is so sad, Katana.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of humans have been nice to me, and like they took me in, so that's good.
Well, well, that's good. Well, ultimately, like for you, you're going to have to choose your own path. Being a reptilian, you're always welcome on the People's Talk Show. Well, I guess now we're the People's Talk Show Live. I might have to start the Reptilians Talk Show Live. I guess the People's Talk Show Live and Reptilians, because we have to have you as a part of the show.
I think if you start like supernatural talk show.
I think that's a really good idea, actually, Katana. As reptilians go, you seem to be very endearing and kind and funny.
Thank you. I'm in Florida. Florida, you can be whatever you want. Like, I am an open reptilian, and everyone's been nothing but nice.
Wow. Well, I tell you, I've learned so much tonight, man, it's just, I think it's made our relationship even more substantial, and with the show, and
It's my pleasure.
ladies and gentlemen, Katana Clark on the People's Talk Show Live, our new reptilian friend. It's lovely to see you. Thank you for being here. I think you're the best. Take care, Katana.
Bye. Thank you.
This had to be Comedy Owl because those two was giving jokes like they went to school for it.
We have in Lockheed right now, there are craft that can go to Mars in a few hours. Right now in Lockheed.
So how do you know what they have at JPL? How do you know they have...
Not JPL, Lockheed.
Lockheed. How do you know that Lockheed has this technology that we can get to Mars in a couple hours?
Lockheed has, I think, some assets in Nevada, but they have a lot of corporate facilities in California, in the state of California. And supposedly there is this shack on the side of a highway in California that looks like some nondescript warehouse, small warehouse. And you go into this warehouse, and the whole floor of the warehouse is an elevator. And it drops Lord knows how many hundreds of feet, and you're inside of a basically a facility carved out of rock, deep underground.
Yeah.
And what this guy said is that they are not only reverse engineering craft from retrieved debris in this facility, but they're actually training pilots to fly them. And he told me that the main problem that they have in that training program is that the pilots experience extreme disorientation because of the warping of space-time by these craft. In other words, they discovered early on, and this is, I think, one of the main reasons, and we can get into this in much more depth if you want. This is one of the main reasons this technology is being hidden, because they discovered very early on that these are not simply devices with propulsion systems capable of navigating space very quickly. Like they can take you from New York to Australia and, right? They're flying time machines. They warp time as they traverse space.
Right, right.
And our pilots don't know how to handle that. They have a very hard time. They get disoriented, temporally disoriented. They get their sense of the passage of time gets really messed with. So anyway, he told me he went down into this facility and that they're reverse engineering stuff and that they're trying to train pilots in how to fly these reverse engineered zero-point energy craft. But okay, what's the really important thing about that is that on a theoretical level about how UFOs are actually time machines. And if you really stop and think through that carefully, you realize why, under the current socio-political conditions, this technology can't be released. With the kind of society we have, domestically, globally, with the state that humanity is in at the present time, the release of that kind of technology into the public sphere would be utterly catastrophic, right? I mean, you can't give Tom, Dick, and Harry a time machine to put in their garage. You see, that's the thing. It's not like these are Jetsons cars that just, fly you across country really fast. They allow you to traverse different epochs in human history. And I think one of the reasons that our history is so messed up, when you look at these really regressive, tyrannical religious belief systems and the kinds of political structures that formed around them and that were fortified by them, I think a lot of what's going on there is that our timeline has been manipulated. It's been manipulated at all junctures, from the present far into the future.
Yep, Siete changed their ingredients after being sold to PepsiCo. As you can see here in this old one, it's just almond flour, tapioca flour, water, sea salt, and xanthan gum. And here's the new one with a whole bunch of extra extracts. Plus, they obviously swapped out the flour for starch. And now they contain 1 less gram of protein too, which is just annoying.
So from the Rothschilds to the Lee family are protected by the 9 Black Greek secret societies of Black fraternities and Black sororities. Well, in the 1969 book, The History of Sigma Pi Phi, Alpha Phi Alpha protects the Rothschilds. Kappa Alpha Psi protects the Oppenheimers. Omega Psi Phi protects the Warburgs. Phi Beta Sigma protects the Rockefellers. Iota Phi Theta protects the Astor family. Alpha Kappa Alpha protects the Bilderbergs. Delta Sigma Theta protects the Habsburg family that exists to this day. Zeta Phi Beta, another Boule secret society, protects the Sassoons, and Sigma Gamma Rho, RHO, protects the Lee family. Wait a minute now. So you have 9 Black Greek letter secret societies. And if you guys heard Kamala Harris when she was in Vegas during the campaign, to my Divine 9 sisters, what she's talking about, the Greek Pan-Hellenic Divine 9.
She said that?
She said that.
I had no clue this Greek organizations protected some of the biggest families and groups out there.
I don't know how they've evolved, but they have only telepathy now. They cannot speak. Some of their vocalizations are incredibly rich, and I can get to that. I've talked about that so often, though, I don't want to bring it up again because you've heard the stories. But just to say this, that I did have an experience with them in which one of them uttered cries that were so beautiful, so moving, and so perfectly spaced that they just it went right through me, but also the perfection of them was so great that I couldn't, music for a year afterwards sounded muddy to me, even the very finest music. Because those cries, those sounds, those three sounds I heard were so perfectly spaced and uttered with such extraordinary precision. You know, I think to myself sometimes, could we be dealing here with a brilliant, deeply emotional machine? Is that what this is? Because they're not emotional. They're very emotional. Okay. So they are telepathic and they're joined telepathically. Now you're going to hear people who have never been in their telepathic bubble, as it were, say the disgusting words, hive mind. It's no hive mind at all. It is an incredibly complex, subtle, nuanced mind. And all of the 5-foot-tall ones have separate personalities.
Okay, so about 6 years ago or so, Google bought Nest.
Right.
Now, some people know that, but what they don't know is that about a year or two later, what do I call myself? Some idiot professor type pulled apart one of the new Nest thermostats that they were selling and found that they had put a microphone into it without telling anybody. Now, around the same time that they're installing microphones into
Wait. This was the one that you purchased?
No, this is another professor type.
Another professor type.
Another lunatic like me.
Purchased a Nest.
To investigate it. To find out the question at the time was, why would Google be so interested in Nest?
Yeah.
Well, the reason they were interested is because it gets put in people's homes, and they were submitting patent applications at the time for new methods of analyzing sounds within the home.
Seemed like he was speaking about his experience in third person, and I might be missing something, but I thought most indoor cameras came with microphone capability.
So we're in California, and there's 26 Penske vans, all in line alphabetically, with every letter of the alphabet. Can someone tell me what this is about?
Bunch of white nationalists push Christianity down your throat.
Christianity was in Africa before Europe. Whoa, did you hear that? The Ethiopian Bible is older than the King James Bible. Thank you. That's exactly right. The argument that colonialism brought Christianity to Africa is completely wrong. Why is it completely wrong? Because Christianity was already in Africa before Europe. And one thing you need to know is that Christianity is not a European religion. Whoa.
They didn't bring Christianity to Africa. They brought edits. Ethiopia had the Bible before Europe touched it, complete and full of books that you've never even heard of. For some reason, over 1,000 sacred texts have been removed from the Western version of the Bible. But the Ethiopian Bible, kept all of them. Let me show you what I mean. There are 88 books in the Ethiopian Bible and over 1,200 books in the Apocrypha that you can access online. There's also an audiobook and video lessons that comes with this. This morning I was reading The Wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach, and this was just so interesting to me. Seriously, just pause and read here because there are some words that I cannot see on TikTok. If the orange card is still on your screen, grab one before it disappears. And while you're at it, go ahead and tag someone who still thinks the King James Version is the full word.
The Bible that we know today has 66 books, so to know 22 books got deleted is wild to me.
จะถอยออกแล้วถอยออกแล้ว
What in the world?
ถ้าไม่ต้องตีตูดมันข้างหลังอ่ะถอยถอยถอยถอยถอยก้มไปเลย
The way those guys reacted, it seemed like the elephant is a repeat offender.
You ever whispered to your Alexa?
I got rid of mine, bro. I don't trust it anymore. What does whispering do to it?
It will be like, "Are you there?" And then you'll be like,
"Alexa." Don't say yes.
No.
Yeah.
It does that. It's weird. Like, I don't have Alexa. I turn off my Siri. That stuff is always listening. It's not just when you say the name, then it clicks on. But it's always listening. So that means recording all your conversations. Even the founder of Alexa, who built the actual program, he doesn't have it. He said, I don't use it at all. Same thing with the owner of TikTok. He says his kids doesn't use TikTok, don't allow it.
Wow.
So what is that doing to your psyche? These people who are creating these products, they don't even use their own product.
I thought this guy would be escorted out on a stretcher, but they're walking him out like they're about to detain him. But that's it for the video. Thanks for kicking it with me. But before you leave, hit the like button and sub up. It does help in the algorithm, and I appreciate all the support. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.